Good morning. The Lakeville Library Board of Trustees are meeting. Today is September 20th. I am the chair, Nancy Lefebvre. This is Ruth Gross, a trustee, Jamie Viveris, our former director and now interim director, and Patrick Marshall, a trustee. Is anyone taping the meeting? And the answer is yes, LakeCAM is taping the meeting. So we're going to start the morning off with the secretary's report from August 23rd. We've all received this in advance. Is there a motion to waive the reading?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Although any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. So is there any question about the secretary's report from Ruth? Hearing none, is there a motion to accept?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The motion passed. Thank you, Ruth, for taking the minutes. We will now go into the financial report from the director, acting interim director.
At this point, you're, I don't know, just over 20% into the fiscal year. Really no concerns. The only thing to note is the water service line is already overexpended because we had not anticipated being tied into the City of Taunton water. At this point, we're already, where are we, September 20th today, so I anticipate that you could close out the system probably within the next
September 30th.
couple
after.
of weeks. Yeah, what I will do is I will make a point while I'm here today to reach out to DPW to see what their timeline and game plan is for shutting the camp system off, and whether or not, you know, they just disconnect us at this point, given the fact that you're having to spend town funds. But that's the only real concern I have, and I think once the system is shut off, then you'll have a better sense of how much you've had to spend overall for that, and then have a discussion with Ari, I would say, about, you know, whether or not you can float it within what you already have. But it's hard to tell that now because we're so early on in the year, so it looks like, oh yeah, it's fine, but all of the other lines were really budgeted for what the needs were. You may end up with a little bit extra in electricity, but it's hard to tell because, for example, like the if we're kind of at 20 some odd %, that electricity line is already at 18.9, so it's hard to know if there'll be extra anywhere else until you get along, or you discuss having something happen at fall town meeting or reclassify bills. I really wouldn't have any recommendations at this point without knowing where you actually end up, but that's the only one because that was unanticipated.
Building and grounds.
B&G, we actually took quite a bit out for this fiscal year because you had been carrying so much in there from, I guess, the time when all of the grounds work was having to be covered and the mulch and the fertilization, where the town has now kind of wrapped us into an overall plan. That line, I made the recommendation last year to decrease to more where you had been spending, and that now covers money to do miscellaneous repairs. So any HVAC issues that you have that aren't, significant. If something really big were to go, you'd have to talk to the town about that. This is more of the routine things or minor repairs out and around in the building. It will have enough to cover that. That's where you really won't know until May or June how much you have extra. So that'd be the thing, is see where the water service is over, and then whether or not the town, they just want you to revisit it in the spring.
Okay, so hopefully by that time something will have been settled at the Ted Williams camp.
But that's the only one at this point that I see is not in line with where it should have been.
Do they have any idea when they're going to fix the system?
I did not ask that again. At this point, since I've just been interim, I haven't been able to interface with DPW in the same way, but that's
Sure.
where I'll make a point to ask
Mhm.
today, like, where are they at with the repairs? What's the long-term game plan for that? And then when they plan to shut the system down for this year.
We'd also like to know, have they been able to irrigate at all at the Ted Williams camp? Or
As
we
far
haven't?
as I know, that was all being done. It was, but I don't know.
Okay.
You know, I thought it was, they were still running it for part of the day for them. It was the load of all the competing multiple fields and us that was creating a problem. But the plan was to redo the electrical there, so that way the service could support the amount of time that that system needed to run. That was where it was at, but there were no dates connected with it last I knew, before I left.
Okay. Thank you, Jamie. Any
Mhm.
questions, other questions on the
No.
financial report? Then we will go into the director's report.
So, what I will do is I normally had provided you a director's report in writing prior to the meeting, but with the change, it was a little bit difficult to do that for this month. So I will have more of an oral report here for you, but I will send something to you all after, so it can be used for creating minutes. But as far as program services and collections, in the youth services area, fall, we're in fall, back to school season, so Fall Story Hour began on September 11th. The music time program that she had brought up in the summer, which was popular, will begin again October 4th. So some of the things, like, we kind of take a little bit of a hiatus after summer read, and things pick up again in September. She's doing What You're Reading, which is a kind of modified book club, is happening on Wednesdays again. And one thing to note is that the library will be adding a collection of a new special collection called Wonder Books. These are ready to play audio books for children. So it's a book where the format, I should have brought one to show you. It's a traditional picture book format, but there's a little audio component built in where the children can press and it will read along. So it's a read to me, but rather than being like on a digital device or on the computer, which we do have those available too, this is a physical book with that companion piece. So Ms. Teresa ordered a whole collection of those. They're being processed now. They were actually funded out of the HCA Charitable Contribution Fund, so the town is helping to support those, and they should be coming out shortly if they are not already there. That's where it's like, with not being here every day, I'm not sure if they're actually on the shelf yet, but that's coming.
Okay.
As far as the adult side, we had some programs already in September. So there was a coffee talk program. Somebody came and did a presentation.
Very good. We went.
You went? Okay, good. Where she talked about the different varieties of coffee. I did have one comment. I think people thought there were going to be samples, because a lot of times when we do like food oriented, then it's, and it was like, no, it never was intended to be that. It was more just informational, educational. There was a local author, and we also had a Medicare program last night that was offered by a local resident. So upcoming in October, there'll be a local food trivia program on October 17th. This is going to be like a Jeopardy style program, so it's educational in nature and kind of entertaining, but it's a little bit of a game at the same time to test people's knowledge on some of the local foods. So think like Moxie, Hermit's, stuff that is kind of regional, and so that should be fun kind of for everybody. And as far as the collections, I'm just still continuing with collection development, and the staff has asked for some weeding reports for certain areas that are starting to get a little bit tight. So I will actually be running those today before I go. But yeah, there's no other concerns.
Any question regarding program services or collections? And we'll move on to building and grounds.
So, I think you may all know more about what's happening related to B&G, but LakeCAM's air conditioning was an issue last week. It's been since resolved. And then I have to just follow up about the irrigation, but and you all were dealing with, Teddy dealt with Paul with the lights.
Yes. Okay, I have a question about the gate, the lock on the gate from this side, not the keying
I
side.
don't think it's broken. I think it's user error is
Okay.
creating a no. I think it's getting turned past the wrong way, so then
Okay.
it gets stuck and you have to use the key. So
From the going, yeah, that's
if
what
you
happened. Twice, once out of 3 times, so that, yeah, unless.
it's I think sometimes how it's being opened.
Okay.
First thing. So I shouldn't say user.
As far as the LakeCAM,
So I think it's more of a training issue, that it really only needs to go,
a little.
like, it only needs to move like this much from
Okay.
here to here, and it's getting spun all the way around, so then it gets stuck in a.
Could we just put
It
Sharpie?
was like
I
Sharpie
did,
markers
I
on
did
it?
try that. I think it just needs to be another,
It's another older thing in our building.
another education session.
Yeah, maybe we
Training,
need to
we
be
need training.
included.
It's a training
Opening,
issue.
We
I
need to all
think
be
it's
included in the training as well. Well, every key holder needs to be, I
Mhm.
guess.
We thank Ted Delarocco for covering for Anthony's time off.
Absolutely.
So that was really good. Jose from LakeCAM did call me to tell me that they have recharged the air conditioner, and so it is operating. But we thank Teresa and Ted and Mr. Nee for taking care of all the issues that came from having that air conditioner not work, and then the dehumidifier stop working but continued to run, and a whole bunch of things. So we had a lot of help from outside the building, and we appreciate that very much. Grounds. I'm going to be taking care of putting some fall mums in before the Lakeville Arts and Music Festival, so that will happen this coming week. Any other questions on building and grounds? We do have some, it looks like invasive shrubbery coming up into the garden behind the sign that says this is the Lakeville Garden.
Mhm.
And I'm noticing it's not just there, but it's in other places around town. So whatever it is, it's prolific and tall, and it looks interesting, but it's kind of overshadowing all the other perennials that are in there. So we need to deal with that too. Any other questions for building and grounds? Other items?
I don't have anything
No other
really
items? Does
further.
anybody have any other items? We're gonna go to Friends of the Lakeville Library.
So the Friends, their next meeting will be on Monday, October 2nd. For anybody who's interested in joining them, they always meet on the first Monday. They've got, they're probably starting to plan now for Arts and Music Festival. They will participate in that. I do believe that they participated in the
Lions
the
Club.
Lions Club. I mean, that happened already, but they would have talked about that in September to do for that. They're out to that event, and then they'll do
Did
arts
that?
and music.
Did that take place on the day it was supposed to?
It was
Because-
delayed one day because of.
They
the
had it
weather.
on Sunday then.
But it was a gorgeous day. It was
Yeah.
much smarter to do it that way.
Yeah.
And we want to remind the public that the purchasing of books that belong to the Friends are available like on a walk-in basis anytime. And is it a donation?
It's done by donations, so,
So you can-
whatever you'd like to give for the items. We don't do a
It's
price
not-
per piece.
And we are not currently having any book sales.
No.
So that and I have to tell you that the room is so organized that you can just go to a topic area and find things that you might be looking for. And there's always interesting children's books too. So please come to the library and see what the Friends have to offer, and very nicely used books. Great Ponds Gallery?
We will be finishing the current exhibit the day after the Arts and Music Festival, so I guess that's the first, October 1st. And the next exhibit is the Lakeville Historical Commission doing an exhibit on the history of beverages. So,
And there will be samples at the reception, which will be on the 12th of October. It's going to be a blind test for colas. Can you tell the difference between Pepsi, Coke, and store brands? So it should be a fun exhibit. And we're still looking for material. If anybody has anything that they would allow us to put into a lock case, we would love to have it.
or hang on the wall.
Or hang on the wall. And that's just the month of October?
That's the month of October. And then December, we will have another photography exhibit. Photographers who have done work concerning Lakeville. I'm trying to remember the names.
Okay. Any questions of the gallery committee? Library director search update. Okay, Jamie?
I think that's more so your.
Well, I was just gonna say, could
Unless
you, we have been accepted, we went through a process where we did an in-house posting for a week, and then after that week was up in September, we then started posting on the MBLS
MBLC.
website.
The town did put it out on Indeed,
Indeed.
as well.
It's on sales
And it's on the
as well.
town's website.
Sales. So we were on altogether 4 webs between the town and 3 other websites. So we have approximately 12 applicants.
About a dozen applications so far, which is a good number.
Very good number. So the Lakeville Library Search Committee, we're trying to find a date. So we're going to be having a discussion about 3 dates for them to meet. And these will be evening meetings on the 28th of September, and either that or October 3rd or October 4th, which is a Tuesday and a Wednesday. So that's what we're earmarking right now. And we'll be in touch with the people on the search committee and see what their availability is, and we'll try to find the most people available. And at that point, we will actually look at the applications that have come in and hopefully make a decision to go and do some interviews. So that's where we're at right now. And we thank Jamie for continuing to do the interim work for us. Is there any other questions about anything to do with the
Could you tell
search
me those
committee?
3 dates again?
Yes, Thursday, September 28th, which I know is a meeting for you. October 3rd, which is a Tuesday, and October 4th, which is a Wednesday.
And then they would be evenings, right?
So those are the 3 dates that seem to be available at this time.
They would all be evenings?
Yeah.
Evenings at this time, yeah. And so we'll get in touch with, there's an app for compiling,
They all
cross-referencing
work.
people's preferences. So we're gonna be using that, and Jamie's gonna show me how to do that, or do it for us, one of the 2. So applications still can come in. Haven't closed applications. In fact, we've left it open and saying until the position is filled. So that's where we are with that. Any questions? Okay, does anybody have anything else to bring before the Library Board of Trustees? Do you have anything? Patrick?
I don't know.
Ruth? Then guess what? Let's find a date to meet again. So we have been meeting on Wednesdays. Is the 8:30 time good for you?
It's fine for me.
And
If
how
you
about-
wanted to do 9, like go back to the 9, I think today was 8:30 because of
I've got
the
a board
sales
meeting
You
in
have a-
Fairhaven, yeah.
But other than that.
So do we want to go back to a 9 o'clock? And we did have like the 3rd, was it the 3rd of
Normally you had been
Fourth.
doing the 4th,
The
but
4th?
then I had a conflict next week, so you pushed it back to
Okay.
today.
So we're looking at the 25th?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right, so we will be meeting at 9 a.m. here in the Reynolds Local History Room at the Lakeville Public Library on October 25th, which is a Wednesday. If there's nothing else to come before the board, the chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Thank you, LakeCAM. We thank Eli and John for filming today.